All right, as you can see, I removed the 2 windshield bumpers, the 2 windshield washer nozzles, and the footman loop. So now we are ready to put the template on. So to do that, what we're gonna do is index it to some of these holes. And in order to do that, we need to cut some holes out of the template. The more accurate you can cut the holes in the template, the more accurate your placement can be. And then we're gonna measure before we tape it down in its final place. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm using these holes here to place my template. Okay. And now I will tape it down tight and then measure it and make sure it's exactly where I want it. I'm also taping the hood surface underneath where I expect to be drilling, just to protect the paint from chipping. All right, before I finish taping down the template, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some measurements. Make sure it all looks good to me before I finish. I found a cloth measuring tape. Helps measure across the contour of the hood. And you know what they say, measure 100 times, cut once. All right, so she's all taped down, at least as good as I feel like I can get it. A few little creases in the paper I had to pull down, but I think for the most part we're good. So now it's time to start drilling, and to do that I'm going to use the center punch, mark those hole locations. This probably doesn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you're getting your measurements, make sure you're measuring the holes, the hole centers, not the paper, the edge of the paper, because on mine in particular, it's printed maybe 1/8 of an inch off center. So if you're looking at the edges of the paper for your measurement, you're going to be off, right? So hole center to some object on your Jeep is the way to go. And to be real, if you get anywhere close to even a 1/16 of an inch, you're probably better off than most of the other parts on this Jeep to begin with. So I'm as good as I feel like I can get, and yeah, well, I'm just gonna have to go for it. Eventually you just have to say, it's time, poke some holes. Maybe I'm gonna go eat first. Let it marinate before I come in here. No, I'm gonna do it right now. All right, so now I'm using a 1/16 inch drill bit. And now it gets really real. 5/16 inch holes. So now what I need to do is cut out this from the template. Just trace this with a marker. Boy, I must have sucked in kindergarten. And now a little Dremel action. Well, there's pretty much no going back from here. All right, so now I'm going to clean up this tape, take a look at my lines, and I'll clean those up as necessary with the same Dremel tool. The ones that made me most nervous were these on the top because they're so close to the cutout. For touch-up paint, I'm just using this Rust-Oleum Fast Fix. It's a 2-in-1 paint and primer, and this is just universal flat black. I'm not trying to color match anything because it's all going to be covered up anyway. So yeah, I don't care if it's anvil or it could have been purple, but flat black is sort of my go-to for painting things. So. You don't really want to watch me paint all these holes, do you? No. Let me just do it. I'll be back. Well, is it pretty? No. Is it effective? Yeah. So there we go. I did the touch-up on the holes and this big center vent thing. Now I'm going to let all that dry. And boom, I'll be ready to actually do the final test fit of the scoop before I actually get it wrapped.